grab a seat, let's go. It's time to talk sports in Savannah, don't you know? With Coach Karl DeMasi leading the way, we're diving deep into the games that play. From the hardwoods to the field, excitement's real. Coach Karl.
And what's up, sports fans? Welcome back to the Savannah Sports Report with your host, the coach, Karl DeMasi, right here on the Coach's Corner Sports Network, presented by Coach's Corner. And now you can hear the replay of tonight's show Friday morning at 6 o'clock on the Superstations 104.3 FM. All right, it's a replay. I'm back on the radio. We'll see where it goes from there. Hopefully I'll be back live. I can't wait to get back there. But right now, this is perfect. I've been doing this now for over 5 years on the internet, as I like to say. But tonight, we're joined by one of the most respected voices in Georgia high school sports. He's a journalist and the senior correspondent for Georgia Public Broadcasting System Sports Department. He's the host of, I'm going to get this right, Mr. Nelson, Football Fridays in Georgia with the lovely host, Hannah Gooden. Okay, I finally got it right after probably 500 times. And this man knows every corner of Peach State where the football is thrown, kicked, or tossed. And when it comes to prep football in the state of Georgia, he knows what he's talking about. So, once again, the voice of Georgia high school football, please welcome again one cute sports guy from GPB Sports, Jon Nelson. What's up, Jon?
Good to see you, my friend. We're almost at the midway point of the season. Some folks are past the midway point, and this is a bit what old JR used to call the business end of the schedule. And so this is where we are. We're on the downside of season 2, heading towards season 3.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. We're heading down the downside of season 2. Season 1 was getting into your non-region schedule. Season 2 is your region schedule, and then season 3 is the whipped cream on the cake, the icing on the pudding. I mean, you got to love it. So once again, how you been? How you doing?
Running around, babe, just like you. I mean, it's one of those where let's see. I've got my calendar here. Obviously, and this is just one of 4 books. So that's sideways, so I can fit in the screen. So that's my my rundown for the month. Then this is the rundown for the week, involving all the things that I got to do and all the things I got to get to. On my phone, I have my Google calendar, which I look at last because I always figure out how not to look at it. And then there's always, because me and computers, man, we don't mix. And then there's the calendar that's on the magnet on the fridge, where the boss and I, and by the way, the boss has her own fat head. And so that's here in the studio now too. The boss and I are in the 100 days where she's off cruising, and I'm sprinting around doing both American football and the beautiful game. And so we're in different colors in the calendar. She actually, as we are talking, she is in California. She is in Southern California, spending time with teams that are now in the B1G. She was at USC yesterday and today, and I think she's at UCLA tomorrow before she leaves town, and then she comes back. And then she's got a bye week, so she can kind of rest up a little bit before Georgia and Auburn go at each other in the South's longest rivalry next Saturday. Before that, then it's Missouri. So, yeah, she's in the middle of her football season. I'm in the middle of mine, plus the soccer season as well. So, yeah, I don't know what my name is.
Well, someday you guys will meet up, right?
Yeah, really? Around Thanksgiving or Christmas. And then we'll sit there and go, oh, crap, we forgot to buy Christmas presents. And then it's like Amazon becomes our friend. That's how it is. This time of the year, that's how it is.
All right, so let's get to the objective on why I have you on here is talk about the Coastal Empire football area down here in the southeast part of Georgia.
Right.
So do you see the dynamic shifting for Coastal Empire teams in the second half of this second part of the season? And what trends have stood out the most for you so far down here in the south part of the state where you got to pack a lunch and come down here?
Yeah, or you're in Region 3 AAA and you're just kind of beating up on each other. And I think that is one that we'll get into in a second. But we had Danny Britt on the Football Fridays in Georgia podcast. And I know that you mentioned Hannah. Hannah had her last podcast of the year this week. So when you watch Danny Britt, when you watch Jared Frazier, the head coach for Flag at Rome, and Drew Swick from Collins Hill, Hannah's 2 weeks away from child number 3. And so when you look at the pictures on social media, she's that close, and so she's a gamer. I'll tell you what. I mean, she's an absolute gamer, and she got it right up to the bitter end. And so this is her last one of the year. Nikki Noto Palmer is going to be coming in out of the bullpen, and she's going to babysit me for the rest of the season. So so that's, with Hannah and me and catching up with Danny. One of the things that has always stuck with me when it comes to Benedictine, is the region that they're in, and I had him explain how tough the region is for folks that have never seen it. I mean, out of the blocks, it's like, yeah, week 1, it's Benedictine and where? It's just an average matchup if ever there was one. And then you're in that region, you're bouncing around, and but you got a Perry team that is always chasing after championships. Kyle Hockman in New Hampstead. I know that things have been difficult down in Jessup for the last handful of years, and I know that it was a tough situation for Coach Mooring. And that was a decision this week. And so, and Benedictine and Ware and Warner Robins and all of that. So you have that region just beating each other up, but you've got to pack your lunch, your dinner, your midnight snack, and your hard hat to make sure that you get to all of those games. And then you get to 3 triple, and literally it is Jenkins who has come out of the blocks as a bit of a surprise in and around the state. Then it's Liberty County, Calvary Day, our buddy Mike Feaster and the Blue Tide of Long County out there in Ludowici. It's Southeast Bullock, Johnson, Savannah. So you have 6 teams right now in Region 3 triple that are 500 or better in region play. And so you look at the matchups in the second half of the season, and anytime that Jenkins, Liberty, CD Long, SEB, and Johnson are paired up with each other, it's going to be must-see television there in Region 3 AAA. In Region 1 and 5A, you're looking at Brunswick, who has been a top 10 team all season long. They're 5-1. They're 4-0 in region play. Effingham, Statesboro, South F, Glen Academy is a part of the discussion. Bradwell's a part. Once again, you've got 6 teams that are 500 or better in Region 1 5A. And so you have all of these dynamics at play right now. And Calvary Day, while they're in Region 3 triple, they get pulled out and they get sent to the side to figure out how they're going to place in the private bracket. And so all of these things that they're interweaving and interwoven, for a past tense, that to me are the biggest things that you got to stare at with what's going on there on the coast. And don't even forget, and I even forgot, Matt Lizotte and Richmond Hill, because of the start in Region 1 6A, they're out of the blocks with a win. And so you get a win early on, you've got that leg up on everybody else. And so Lowndes, Valdosta, and Richmond Hill are the 3 teams that are 1-0. Camden, Colquitt, and Tift are 0-1. So, good luck sorting that one out.
Well, just make this quick for me. How the heck does Valdosta put 62 points or 60-something points on Camden?
I know, that's the thing. I know that, well, and we had Shelton Felton on the show 2 weeks ago as they were getting ready for region play. And you know that the offense is going to they're going to light it up. I just did not anticipate that they would be doing it to that kind of a number. That, to me, was one of the big shocks of the weekend. And it serves as a marker as you get closer to Wintersville and all the other matchups that Valdosta got that road trip to Kingsland out of the way. And we mapped it out with him on the show. And it's like 3.5 with stops and stretching your legs and all this kind of stuff. So 3.5 going, 3.5 coming back. So you're not getting back till middle of the night, early Saturday morning. And I'm hoping that, maybe Huddle House or Waffle House is open for everybody as they're heading back to home so they can get in a nap before college football starts. But, I mean, that's an early marker, and you've got to look at tiebreakers and things like that and the math that goes into 1-6A if it comes down to it, and point differentials and all those kinds of things. That's why you put up that kind of a number that you do.
All right, well, you took care of the first 3 questions, so let's go to the 4th one, okay? So we had Elijah Griffin, who was at Savannah Christian last year. Right. He's up there playing out at Georgia. Thomas Blackshear is up there also. Mm-hmm. So any players from this area stand out the most for you guys throughout the state?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to go to Benedictine. And with what you see in both the 26 class and the 27 class, you look at somebody like Bubba Frazier, who is 5'9.5". That's what the listing is, 5'9.5", and he's going to Notre Dame. And you know that Marcus Freeman sees something in him, and you have a receiver that is as untraceable, uncatchable. Good luck trying to find the vapor trail when it comes to a receiver like Bubba Frazier. And you also look at the defensive side of the ball with Benedictine on the 26 class, And it's also in the 27 class that you've got to pay attention to what's going on at Benedictine too, with one of the top recruits in the country that you're looking at. And so you have Cam Cody, who's 6'2", 285 right now. And I say right now because as we know about Cruton, he's heading to Clemson right now. And in Glengarry Glen Ross, I always equate recruiting to the scene with Alec Baldwin and the big soliloquy that he has, the big monologue.
Right.
And it's, A always, B, B, C closing. Always be closing. For me, it is A always, B, B, C Cruton. Always be Cruton. So until you get them to sign on the line that is dotted, and they send that fax in December, right now it is, as of right now, they are heading to School X. But I think if you look at Bubba and Cam, that's a good place to start as any when it comes to the 26 class. And then, when you have a recruit in the 27 class that is listed nationally as number 2 on the planet, and it's, LaDamian Guyton could be 2, could be 3, and he's heading to Lubbock and Texas Tech as of right now. Texas Tech is not afraid to sit there and shine the nil money at anybody. And so
No.
LaDamian Guyton right now heading to Texas Tech, 5-star edge rusher, 6'3", 225. You figure he'll be a fast rusher, maybe adding another 20 pounds by the time he leaves at the end of next year. So I think that when you look at Benedictine, it's 1, 2, and 3, 2 of the senior class, and then LaDamian Guyton and how he is going to evolve over the next season and a half for Danny Britt.
All right, 2-minute drill, because I only got about 2 minutes left for this segment for you and I. I know we could do this for 20 hours, but you don't have the time. I don't have the time. Patty don't have the time. My wife don't have. But anyway, all right. So looking ahead, which Coastal Empire team do you expect to advance deep in the state playoffs, and what challenges could derail them down the stretch?
Well, the answer is yes, to answer your question. What team? And the answer is yes. Obviously, you got to look at a Benedictine. I think that you look at Benedictine and you look at Jenkins as your 1 and your 2, and your Brunswick as another one. I think that Richmond Hill probably makes noise as well. I will be intrigued to see if they are a 2 or a 3, or if they can sit there and get a win and sneak a road win in there and be a 2 seed. But you got to look at your brackets. And I know that folks are going to start looking at those things in the next couple of weeks. Who plays who where, and what does it look like if so-and-so is a 1 or a 2 or a 3? This might be the last year that we can map things out normally, because right now under reclass, they're looking at region champs being either a 1 or what would translate into a top 16 team. And then for the other 16 in the classification, they go to power rankings and things like that. So legitimately, you could have a team that is a region champ. They could be honestly a 16 seed next year in the playoffs if this one reclass plan works its way through. So right now, Jenkins, you've got to win your region. Whoever wins the region out of 3 triple, you've got to win that region, and you've got to be a 1 or a 2 to get as many home games as possible as you can. Brunswick, get as many home games as you can down there at Glenn Memorial. If you're Richmond Hill, make sure that you can show off that new facility for folks and get as many home games as you can. Danny Britt schedules all these road games that he does to like going to Westminster and going wherever, so he can be ready for road trips. And I think that that's key for someone like Benedictine. First off, surviving 1 quad and then trying to figure out, okay, where do I advance from here? If I can get through 1 quad and have a couple of home games, that's great. If you're a 3 coming out of 1 quad, then it's going to be a long slog for you. So win your games, win your region, be the 1 or the 2. You're going to have to make noise at home.
Well, I got to go. Let's go to that 1A, 3A bracket private. I mean, Calvary, Savannah Christian's been hurting all year, but they took Blessed Trinity to overtime, and Calvary had a slugfest or a knockout classic fight with Jenkins. Those 2 teams can make deep runs too, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. But once again, look at your brackets, and this is where we sit here and say, follow along, because probably folks are going to be drifting toward Hebron and Fellowship and maybe Aquinas and Landmark, and then but I think that if you look at a Calvary Day and you look at a Savannah Christian that are obviously going to be in the top 10 in the private bracket, once again, get your wins and get your power rankings squared away so you can be. I think that Calvary Day and Savannah Christian, by the end of it all, can make a case to be a top 5, where right now in some classifications and some mathematical equations, they're a 6 or an 8. I think they can both make a case for a top 5 or a top 6. and get a lot of those home games that we keep talking about.
Well, Jon, it's always a pleasure. I know you never turn me down. I know you got a busy schedule, and we've been doing this for a long time, way back since 2002, I think, when we got introduced by good old Tommy Palmer. But keep up the great work. I love watching your podcast. Yes, I did see the fathead already in one of your podcasts. She makes you look good, buddy.
No doubt about it, brother. And so she'll be back soon, and then she's going to collapse and watch her next level college stuff on a bye week. She's going to kick back and just chill with things. It's always great to see you, my friend. We'll see you soon.
I'll see you when we get to season 3.
Yes, sir.
All right. Appreciate it. I mean, just a great guy. Knows his football, knows his stuff, knows the state of football here in Georgia. And we didn't even touch on flag football, which he's getting into now. So once again, check it out. Georgia Public Broadcasting Sports, Jon Nelson podcast, Football Fridays in Georgia. He does a great job. He's a sideline reporter. Check it out.